Power Book 4 Force, Episode 3, Firestarter. I think the opening scene for this one is Tommy still talking to Liliana. Apparently, Liliana's got $300K worth of coke just chilling, and Tommy wants parts because, of course, he does. He's Tommy. Any thoughts on that?
Liliana's explanation as to how she came upon this coke is horseshit. It's horseshit. So I want to know what's going on here. I didn't see Tommy killing her after he didn't do it last episode. I knew that he wasn't. Obviously he wasn't going to kill her, even before we got the previews for this week's episode, because it just seemed like Tommy's approach has taken a hard left, right? Like he uses force when he needs to or when it's convenient to, but he is not the blunt force object that he was when he left New York. You know what I mean? When he was with Ghost. His maturation is something else to watch, because he's not a different person. It's still all of that street knowledge and all of his experiences and stuff like that. It's the same person, but it's a person who kind of watches things develop before he jumps, as opposed to just always flying into things head first. I think Tommy thinks he's responsible somehow for Ghost. I think he feels responsible for all of that to happen with especially, after he shot Angela, shit. But he feels directly responsible for the Tariq and Tasha being able to do that. I think if him and Ghost was probably on a little bit better terms, maybe if all of that shit didn't have to happen with the Teresi stuff and just various spots where, if cooler heads would have prevailed on both sides, Ghost and Tommy, then it sets up a little better for both characters, because now that bond, that relationship, that partnership is allowed to still be there, right? Ghost ultimately had to distance himself from Tommy because Tommy would listen to him, and he killed Angela. So true that. So Vic is at the precinct. He is greasing the palms of a couple of police officers to get Simon and the boys after a deal gone wrong. Is that not homeboy that Tommy stomped out 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Bro, how y'all healed up? I thought he would have been in the ICU.
Hey, man. I don't know. Okay. So not only that, but then we also see the cop from the barbershop that was basically harassing Diamond in episode 1. Not only that, but we find out that bro's name is Seamus Bennigan.
Yeah, and then for him to turn around and say, "Oh, I may have a Mick name." Like, first of all, fam, you all the way turned inside out. You a black cop, a black crooked cop working against the Irishman's black competition with the name Seamus. But then you use a racial epithet against that name. Like, bro, it's just a whole bunch of, it's like, oh, shit. Like, that nigga, he's confused. He don't know what he is. He doesn't know who or what he is at all.
Have you ever seen a black person named Seamus?
Named Seamus? Hey, they better do some work on this character now. Now that I know his name, he has my attention. So please tell me that story. Please give me that background.
So Tommy needs to cut the product, and he is very removed from doing so. So he needs Liliana's help with it. And in this conversation, Tommy lets Liliana know that Ghost is dead. I thought that was important to note, because now it seems like, Ghost doesn't know anything about this situation because obviously he's dead. So this is all Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was kind of important.
I thought it was interesting that, like, a up and rising politician, which is what Ghost was at that point in time, plus a guy who had been in a high profile murder case involving a district attorney, turns up dead in New York, and Liliana, of all people, didn't know. Like, it was a very public ordeal. That was a very public saga. So for her to pop out and be like, is Ghost coming to get in on this? Girl, you don't know Ghost dead? Like I know it's Chicago. It's a little ways across the country, but it ain't that fucking far. Y'all got TV there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a Democratic Party there, right? Which Ghost was heavily entwined with the Democratic Party at that time. So it makes it a little less believable that she didn't know on top of her Fugazi Coke story.
Tommy then goes and meets with JP, his brother, at his grandma's house. Apparently, they're going to do some work on grandma's house. And that's when, they have a touching moment over, all the marks in the wall showing their heights and things like that. And then JP finally decides to give Tommy his money back for a second time, and then tells Tommy that his number is $196,223.
Hey, yo. So first of all, let me say, shout out to the squad homies for catching the slip in my recollection on JP's story about him getting out. It was him coming out, which makes all the world of sense now, because where I was coming from, boy, I was like, hold on, how the hell? Y'all just gonna slide over the part of this man being whatever. But anyways, so that cleaned that up a bit for me. But remember when we were talking about him giving back the 10,000, and he was like, "Yeah, man, this is a drop in the bucket." And I'm like, "Man, what the hell are you talking about?" No. Yeah, no, for sure.
He wasn't lying. He was
drop in the
lying.
bucket. Still would have took the 10 stacks though. Still would have took the 10 stacks. But no, yeah, he was dead ass for sure. Not even what the fuck was he doing? He a scammer or something? Like what's going on with bro?
I got nothing, bro. For that much money, for almost $250,000.
Yeah, 200K. That's a lot. That's a lot, bro. That's a lot. That is a lot. What the fuck was he into?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
And it's also interesting that he has that going on, but yet he's so skeptical of Tommy. It's almost like he knows that life, so he knows what to look for. He understands what the fuck is going on. He's not boo-boo the fool. So he gets it probably because he was involved in something similar to that at a point in time his damn self.
Could be. So Diamond and Lil Bro head to a baseball diamond. It's a lot of diamonds in one sentence. First of all, they talked about Game 7 of the World Series, which I'm still mad about. The one baseball game in the last 10 years that I watched, and I'm still mad the Indians didn't win. Just note that. Anyway, so it also starts a little struggle between Diamond and Lil Bro, and we start to see Lil Bro is a little upset that he's not the guy anymore.
Absolutely. That was the last time I watched a baseball game. Was that playoff series versus the Cubs? Last time I was invested in an Ohio sports team that wasn't the Bengals as well. So it was
a good ass game.
That was what of a time. That series, that whole fall that we were watching, that whole October, that was dope. But in any case, so I just wonder with Jay, the little brother, I wonder if this was just in motion even before Diamond got out. Right? Like I ponder whether or not this was a thing of, oh, he came home and I see the dynamics ain't right, and so now I gotta remove him. Or is this something that has been there even when Diamond was locked out or locked up? And as his release date got closer, the reality of him coming back and just sliding back in his spot starts setting in. There's a lot of little things that's going on with Jay that they're not fully explaining, but you can tell there's some more going on behind what he's actually showing. So it seems like this is something he had planned going on for a long time. Because like even that he mad, right? So what is it that you really mad about, bro? Like you asked me some off the cuff question about Tommy. Mind your business. Or so you ain't gonna tell, bro. We out here playing baseball, bro. We got balls and bats, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what we here to do. So it's like he's planting the drama. He's setting the seeds up to say, hey, look, I tried my best. I did this, I did that, I tried to reason with him. And then, what else could I do? Because he knows what his ultimate goal is.
Yeah, he wants to run the CBI as he's been doing while Big Bro is locked up. So I don't know. It'll be interesting, and obviously we see more from them a little bit later in the episode. So we'll continue talking about it. Liliana and Tommy convene over a white breakfast, and then they plot on how they're going to take over the city. Any thoughts on their whole plan up to this point at all?
I for the life of me do not understand why there is this power vacuum, and as if like racism didn't exist in New York to any certain degree. Like Italians work with blacks in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like Irish works with blacks in New York. You know, I don't. There's always been a level of racism everywhere in America. Why is Tommy popping up in Chicago like he ain't never heard the word nigga before or something like that? Like he's never seen racism a day in his life, bruh. You operated under the NYPD. What was the shock and awe from the cop when he was hassling Diamond? I understand that he was, you know, he got him out of it. He was smooth, but it was like he was shocked. And then now he's talking to Flynn and he's trying to set all this stuff with CBI, and with him being the middleman. And it's like, how don't you understand what's going on here? He just seems to be going after it a little haphazardly.
I'll be fair and say that there is segregation in the city of Chicago, and they're showing that pretty well. But again, you're right. I mean, there's literally racism.
Where is that not the
that
not the situation? Yeah.
For you to act like New York is this like paradise and we're in the hood now, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I don't play by your rules.
Like what?
I ain't from this city, so I don't play by the rules. Yeah, all right.
We'll see. So the Flynn's are having a business meeting, and seems like profits are down. That's when Walter Flynn starts coughing up COVID every fucking where. And then
just a little bronchitis. Just a little bronchitis. Fam, what? Like, yeah, no, I had a light spell of pneumonia last week. Excuse me? Go home.
No cap.
What are you talking about? When bronchitis is the light, like that's the light version. That's the dismissible ailment. It's time to hang it up, bro. It's time to go sit down.
No, he's capping hard.
The relationship between Flynn and his daughter, it's just weird that it's so fucking terrible.
Which leads me to the next
point. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that leads me to the next part of the conversation where they're having a problem with the Alderney in the area, in the ward. And his idea is to have Claudia go see him and wear something nice.
Like, and not just wear something nice, put some sugar on it. Like, damn, bro, that's where you at? That's where you at mentally? Like, damn, no, you can only do math. And when I need you to fuck one of my brethren to leverage him into doing something I want, you do it. Damn, that's the worst Irish accent I have ever done. But
it's pretty bad.
It's still laughable. It's like, yo, what the fuck, fam? Go fucking your daughter? That's what you use? No, she can't be out in the streets. She can't do the physical. She can't do the dirty work. But she can go fuck this bozo. Like I'm of the thinking that the kids have been really running the ship for a while now, because I don't understand how. Well, you know what? I do understand how, because if he's the driving force of it, he's still the head of it. It makes sense that they've been losing money. He's just a very outdated. The times, the business has left him behind, and he's too stubborn to adapt. So, yeah. I don't think he's long for this world, for the power universe. It doesn't seem that way, either by way of his ailments or by somebody removing him.
Maya, aka Gloria, not Olivia, I'm a fucking idiot. She pulls up to a
you know what you meant what you said. You said what you said.
You know what's crazy? Olivia is the name of Yaz now. That's where I got Olivia from. Yeah, so I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, so Maya, aka Gloria, pulls up to a gravesite for her mom. Apparently, Vic paid for the whole thing. Maya sees Vic pull up, and he explains that he saw Tommy the night when he kissed her. Apparently, he still wants parts.
Yeah, I couldn't go this far. After I seen that, I would probably just leave her alone. Like, fam. And then equally, right? Like, I don't know why he won't just cut his losses at this point. Equally with her, her relationship with Tommy and how quickly it started, I'm trying to figure out, then why don't you just tell homeboy to fuck off? Like really tell him to fuck off. Like, no, it's never gonna happen again. I've moved on. I don't feel that way no more. She keep one toe in, one toe out. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Stop I don't knowing him and let him fly, bird. God, go on. Be free. Release him. Because, like, I think she's playing a very dangerous game with how full force she fallen into Tommy. That's also a little odd to me that it was just so like, bro, we 2 episodes in and you butt naked underneath your Sherpa. You know what I'm saying? Like it got real very quickly.
Very quickly.
I mean, I'm not, we're not slut shaming or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, it happened very fast. And for her to still be holding on to whatever she's holding on to with her relationship with the son, it's like, what's your end game here? Because at a certain point, that's going to come to a head. You keep telling him you don't know and letting him sit around while you're full force into Tommy, full force.
You said force at least 3 or 4 times.
Did I? But yeah, that's going to come to a head at a certain point, even if they working together, which they do oddly well for some reason. That was a little awkward.
Tommy pulls up to Big Walter with Liliana. Paulie and Liliana have a hilarious game of questions, which ends in Paulie trying to ask her out on the date, which was hilarious.
Nuts, right? Which is off the wall, especially considering what happens with him later on in this fucking episode. Also, something I picked out of that conversation, the presentation of what whiteness really is. That man, Paulie, right? One of the whitest white men I've ever seen in my life is being questioned about why he's working for, racial epithet coming, mix, meaning the Irish, meaning he's either too white or not white enough to be working with the Irish, Italian, Greek, Polish, and Irish. Those aren't white men. That's not white. Like, do you see how the level you can slide that bitch inside of Caucasian people and filter it down even to the point where, well, you're a little less white than normal. So then you're not white. You're not white. You know what I mean? You white, but you're not white. So you can't fuck with us. Like that's the level. That's how deep it goes. Even Caucasian men and women fall short of whiteness sometimes. That's how particular, how built on exclusion it is.
I think historically they look at Irish as poor, and I think they look at maybe Italians as, I don't know what the beef is with Italians, but
there
Irish
are
and Italians,
poor Anglo-Saxon Protestants as well.
No, for sure.
There are poor Baptist Christians all up and through the South. I'm trying to figure out, man. It's a never-ending race to exclude. It is a never-ending process of exclusion that ultimately will land with just whoever is in charge of it at that time determining what the ultimate level of purity is. And it will always advance to something else. It will always be another level of purity. It has to be, otherwise it doesn't work. I just thought that was fucking nuts that they was talking to him like he was black or something. Like, yeah, how they get down with you? What you mean how they get down? You probably could have told him. Change the name to O'Malley and get it done. Like, what?
So Tommy and Walter talk business. Tommy tries to put him up on the coke business since Walter only deals with pills. Tommy has a hilarious one-liner about Walter not knowing the difference between BLM and BET. I thought that was hilarious. And then Walter indicates that he's listening to Tommy's proposition. Any thoughts on the moves Tommy wants to make?
Dude is not a good negotiator. He's not. It's like, okay, so you see how quickly Diamond saw that Tommy has been clocking the city and he's got the routes and he knows the people, he knows the names. Tommy is consistently coming to FLYNN, making his way to FLYNN, telling him information that he shouldn't be privy to, being a guy who's been there less than a week, right? How are your antennas not going off that he's probably already talked to CBI and Diamond? How is that not in your brain? So for you to come out here and pump fake and be like, oh yeah, well, you know, I'll go work with the blacks on the down south in South Chicago, South Side Chicago. No, you won't. No, you won't. I already know you was a bigot and they don't like you, fam. So let me be your conduit. He's not a very good negotiator. And the only tactic he has is to play tough, which ends up losing him. It loses for him. It's not he's almost never negotiating from a place of strength, at least in this episode, right? When we see him negotiating. But yet it's bludgeon, blunt hammer, everything.
So Walter Finn is Monet?
Is Monet. Walter Monet.
That's a wild combo. Bad deals seem to follow Vic like a plague. Tommy and Vic pull up to what seems to be an art studio. There's a chick dying on the floor and homeboy's blasting house music. Once again, Tommy saves the day for the Flynn family.
Okay, so again, I am really I'm struggling here because there has to be one bona fide boss in Chicago. One. It's got to be somebody. How are we setting up with the fucking house DJ who's too coked out to pay for his drugs? What is happening? What is happening?
And then the tweak heads from the first episode. Like, what was up with that?
Thank you. I'm saying, like, do you?
That was Vic's thing, I think, though. But still, like,
I'm saying, like, do y'all, between the two of y'all, do you have a solid buyer in your Rolodex? Is there one person that we can walk in here and be like, boom, the you know who it was? The Orthodox Jews at the deli. They was probably the most thorough and regulated of anybody else. All these other, man, what? And then I'm trying to leave because
them and then the
the
auto mechanics. The
auto mechanics. You're right. So yeah, it's just really weird that it just seems to be all this room in Chicago to be filled up. That's why Tommy's still there. Like, I get it. I can see it because these niggas are clowns. Like, if this is how they act for real, shit, we might be in the wrong profession.
Yeah, not legit.
Shit.
Legit.
If Marty Bird can make it, we might be able to do some things in Chicago, man.
Marty Bird is only one state over. You know what I mean? Maybe there's room for a collab right there.
Hey, let's get it done.
So since the art house studio DJ is dead now, Walter Flynn needs somebody else to do business with. And so he finally decides maybe now is the time to put Diamond Sampson on the payroll. And I guess they agreed to do a deal. So Tommy has to now talk to Diamond Sampson about it. And he pulls up on the boxing ring. While they're talking, it seems that Lil Bro has had enough and he wants to fight for his position as top dog in the CBI. Any thoughts on that scene?
It seemed very... So at the time, as I'm watching it, it was just like very abrupt. It was very over the top. It was very forced. It just felt like, you know, it was time for it to happen. So it happened. So even if you are trying to view yourself as top dog, right, or the boss, there's certain things that don't get said, or at least you don't even engage in front of people that are underneath you, because it makes you look weaker. It weakens your position to be bickering with something or bickering with someone about something that should be your decision and your decision alone if you're the shot caller. So like it really rubbed me the wrong way to see him like pop off like that and be like, no, nigga, who the fuck you think you talking to? This my shit. I'm like, this is a bit much, especially when there's company in the room. So it just seemed like it was supposed to happen at some point, and that was the opportunity that he needed to do it in front of everybody.
Claudia ends up meeting with Alderney McGuire, and he's a fucking fool. He's a fucking clown, and she obviously knows that. So she decides to, instead of going with her dad's plan, threaten his daughter And basically, because of that, they're not paying a cent more, which means she knows how to handle business.
That was the hardest threat that I've heard out of anybody from Chicago in this show so far. Wouldn't it be ashamed if it got all covered in dirt? Like, damn.
You know?
Damn, yeah, that definitely was not the sugar he was talking about. That's not what he asked for.
No, not at all.
No,
but
no.
She got the job done, and she got it done how she wanted to get it done.
Especially because bro was trying to flex on her a little bit, trying to leverage her sexuality. I don't think she gives a damn about that getting out at this point. Like, my father sent me here to fuck you. So at this point, what does it matter?
The boys have a meeting and everyone benefits, including Tommy, who wants a 5% deal out of the whole thing. However, Tommy didn't do all of his homework. He clearly didn't know the history between Walter and the CBI.
I thought this was dumb. Not so much on Tommy, because he didn't know anything that happened, like why Diamond was down so long or whatever. But why did you tell me to set this meeting up just so you could halt it when we got down to talk about business and call this man a black parasite? Like, somebody got to get this bigot off the show, because I don't. He's not adding anything other than his racism and just general ignorance.
Yeah, I mean, how did you get to be Walter Flynn when your profits are down and you're not willing to do what it takes to be the guy? Like, how did you even get to this position?
He probably rolled the opioid epidemic to what it was, and maybe it fizzled. But not even that, because to be up like that, you would have to be doing it for a long time. So he probably has dominated the pill game in Chicago for so long. And actually, the opioid epidemic is probably what's fucking up his product. Because if you think about it, if he only deals in pills when it comes to drugs, right? You're not fighting Pfizer. You're not fighting Johnson & Johnson. You can't fight them. It ain't enough illegal drugs in the world to fight a conglomerate. So, or maybe, but not Walter Flynn.
No, that's a fact.
Not Walter Flynn. Not at the rate that they're able to produce it and ship it without the hazard loss that you get. Right. The acceptable losses of trucks getting turned over and DEA busts and stuff like that you chalk up every year. That's minimized by what they fuck up in the factory. Plus, they're producing much faster. So that if you are only dealing in pills, that would be a problem in 2022, because you can't beat the pill pushers.
So after all the drama, it seems like Bennigan is not the only law enforcement taking pictures around Chicago. Any thoughts on our new friends that we meet at that?
The black cops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have no idea who they are. Where are they from? So I would guess that it's probably somebody that was on his tail from New York and tracked him to Chicago, because he's starting to make a little bit of noise. And he's telling everybody his name. I really thought Tommy would have changed his name. I really thought he would have changed his name by now if he was trying not to be seen. But he didn't. And so now somebody eventually is going to come sniffing from New York.
I think they were there for Walter Flynn, because they didn't recognize Tommy, and they were like, "Oh, this must be the new guy working for Walter Flynn."
You're right. You are right. Yeah, they said that maybe Flynn's got a new guy, so they were on top of Flynn. But so then that has to be they've been there. Then that's just if they're coming after him, then they're regulars. We're new to this, not them.
Claudia finally shot her shot with Tommy, business-wise, at least. I think this is what we've been waiting on since at least episode 1, to kind of see things from her side moving into motion. And obviously she's got to get homeboy Tommy involved.
No, that's how it's going to happen. Like, obviously, like we said, Junior is working with Tommy already and has gotten bailed out of a couple jams because of Tommy. Old girl is obviously interested. She's looking to blaze her own path that her father seems to refuse to want to open up for her. So ultimately, I think the children just kind of ice dad out on everything. They see that he's faltering. The decisions that he's making are not what's best for the company or for the family, but it's what's best for his history. I guess apparently, Paulie's Paulie's wife. Is that what he's talking about? Paulie's wife got shot at or something like that, and apparently you just had to go on a fucking killing spree on the South Side. So eventually you're gonna have to move out of that, right? Because war isn't good for anybody. And if Diamond isn't at the head, oh boy Jay will meet you in the field, and we can just do it like that. It just doesn't seem like he's the best fit to be running the show right now. It seems like he's more of an agitator than a leader, and which would make me understand a little bit more why there seems to be this huge power void in Chicago, because the quote unquote top dog is a shell of himself.
Yeah, no, he definitely represents an idea of being conservative, being traditional,
of purity.
While his kids seem to be a little bit more progressive in thinking, making the moves that need to be made for the family. So it'll be an interesting, like you said, an interesting dynamic to explore for the rest of the season, at least, for the foreseeable rest of the future. That leaves me with the last scene that I thought of note, which was Lil Bro speaking with Jeremiah about the fact that he took a dive in the ring. How does that even make sense? Why would taking a dive be the thing that sets everything in motion?
Also, Jeremiah just must have it, because who just gives $500 away? Even if you got it, who just gives it away? So you knew he was going to lose, and you bet the nigga $500 for what? Why?
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I'm doing my part. Yeah, we really got to make it. We really got to make it seem like we was really into it. Here's 500.
Unnecessary.
I feel like Jeremiah has only done unnecessary shit in this show so far. His only parts have been unnecessary.
Maybe he's just waiting for his moment to do something necessary in the show.
Okay. He almost fought Tommy at the barbershop for no fucking reason. And then you bet on a fight that you knew homeboy was about to lose on. Like, why? I don't get it. I do not understand what they're doing right now with Jeremiah. But in terms of Jay and that falls in line with kind of what I'm thinking. Like, none of the things we're seeing is what it really is. I don't know what happened with the Spanish couple that kidnapped Tommy in episode 1. Right? I don't know exactly what happened with them, but I do not think they literally whooped his ass and kidnapped him. I don't think that's how that happened. I think maybe Rojas made a call to Jay. Jay, being the new head of CBI, is like, well, you know what? I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. Rojas is like, well, how about we set this whole, shenanigan up where, we get Diamond twisted up in some shit, causes dissent in the group. You fracture it. We remove Diamond. You solidify. Now you back to being the head of CBI without Diamond in the mix. I don't know. There's some steps in between there. We got to connect some tissue there, but that could be a roundabout as to why all of this seems so convenient. Like, boom, Diamond been out of jail for a day and he gets picked up, right? Even though you heard old boy Rojas said he was going to let him get comfortable. So I don't know really what the plan is yet. We haven't seen enough to see that have it come into motion. But I definitely peeped that homeboy wasn't on the up and up from the jump.
For sure. At least this storyline of jealousy kind of makes sense. I've seen some storylines in Power where that jealousy never really makes sense as to why he would be jealous. And
they got to give me more than just, oh yeah, well, I was running things while you was in jail. Well, my nigga, if I never went to jail, you wouldn't be here. You would have never had the opportunity to thrive. Like, it's only through my work and my blood and sweat that you were able to survive. So that's not a good enough excuse to be pushing this hate like you pushing it, to be pushing this animosity the way that you pushing it. There's got to be more than that. So give me more.
I would say it's been fairly quick for him to just decide, oh no, fuck this. I'm splitting CBI down the middle. Mm-hmm. It's 3 episodes. Right, exactly. I don't think it should have started that way, but now that we're here. So
yeah, for sure.
Any thoughts on what's going to happen in episode 4 at all?
So I think it's time that Tommy finds out whose coke that actually is, because if you notice, Juliana when they were after they had the debacle with the Flynn meeting with him and Diamond, she was trying to take that joint back. Well, shit, it don't look like they're gonna be able to use it so well. Let me get that back. I'm like, hold on, Speedy Gonzalez. Let me just pay you for it then. Since you want to move it so fast, here I'll give you the money. No, I'm good. Now you suspect as fuck. What the fuck is going on with this coke? Whose shit is this? Who's about to come looking for this? I promise you, if at one point Juliana just dips on Tommy at some point, she just disappear out of nowhere. He'd be like, Juliana. Just expect whoever coke that is to pop up immediately. Because
it's crystal balls, bro. It's crystal balls. I'm trying to tell you.
It could be crystal ball, and so yeah, crystal ball would definitely have reason to have smoke with Tommy. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Those two things though for sure.
And it seems from the clips that we've seen that Vic does end up trying to do the deal with Tommy and the CBI. So we'll see.
That's it, man. Give us your thoughts on this episode 4?
Episode 3.
Episode 3, Firestarter. Give us your ratings and your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, and make sure you also check out our Power playlist. We've reviewed this show as well as Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. So make sure you go back and check out what we thought about those. And like you said, make sure you subscribe.